everything was working out well, working out very well. You know, I knew something was up when Shaldina herself was confused on what Raptalia was saying. And we've seen this story plenty of times before, where you have figureheads and puppets who are in charge of land, but they don't really have a say so. They're just there so that people can point their blame at. In a way, kind of like a CEO, in a way. I know, stop. But that's how it is most times, You bring in someone to take all the blame, but they get all the benefits. Then you have a face that people can get mad or happy at. Because the powers that be don't want to take the heat. This happens all the time, and of course in our reality, as you can clearly see, they have no true power or don't know how to use their power. They're just there to follow the rules of the ones who put them there in the first place. But how many times have we seen it where you had a child who was born with royalty, but the parents aren't there anymore? So instead, you have a relative or an advisor that takes care of them. We've seen Agami Got Killed, or even movies like Emperor's New Groove, or Elia Enchanted. There's always that happening. It can be an uncle, an aunt, a mom, and stuff, manipulating a kind-hearted person who's completely foolish of reality. Now, Agami Got Killed is the only one where the ignorant person ended up being killed themselves because of their insolence. Yeah, they didn't know any better, but they still were part of the problem that caused everything to go down. So Agami Got Killed the way they did, like, holy snap, man! They put this kid, they executed this kid, man. Reality. In most fairy tales is, oh, that person exempt because they didn't know any better. But you're still your hands in the crime whether you don't know any better. You might get a lot of crime, but I'm getting off topic. But Raptalia met with Shaldina, and they were discussing politics, negotiations. And Shaldina's offer was good, but she didn't understand what was happening. She wanted Raptalia to go back home, exempt them of all crimes and charges, and just leave the rebellion alone. But Raptalia, who didn't want nothing to do with this, had some sense of pride of her people she didn't really know, but she felt some sort of spiritual connection with, and decided, you know what, no, I can't do that, because the people here are suffering because of what's happening, the taxes, unable to attack terrible mandates. All this stuff is happening. It's been happening for so long, if she were to leave now, they would lose hope, and their desperation will turn into true anger, and they will strike out either way. So Raptalia wants to do this without any true bloodshed, as you should. So they had a new proposition. A lot of people who welcome into an area, and Raptalia is allowed to govern them as well. So therefore, they won't feel like they're being controlled by someone else, but Raptalia herself, and she will be part of the higher-ups. And the council, in a way. And that makes a lot of sense. Good idea. Very good deal. So he accepts the deal, and everything's going well. Everything's going well. I'm like, too well. You know what that means. So, on the other side, you have Nafumi, who was bringing Iski and Ren to those stones, giving them new forms of abilities to help them. There's more to these stones that he's trying to realize, but doesn't know their full potential. It allows them to use full bursts of energy, but it drains out. Pretty much is their version of Super Saiyan 3. Do a full outburst of energy, but energy goes by fast. So you can feel it drain from you at a very fast rate. And that was all that. Meanwhile, Motiatsu is slowly creating his little filial army right now. His obsession of philo and painting and everything. You see what he's doing. This dude is all right on his own, man. All of you are just out here doing his own little adventure and stuff. While Ren and Iski, he's training and guiding from Nafumi. Motiatsu is just out here. He's like, yeah, man, I'm in the clouds right now. I'm a little overpowered. He has his own form of determination that can't be stopped. So yeah, good for Multiasu. I really wanted them to animate the Multiasu spinoff. This is pretty interesting for what it was, but unfortunately, we won't get that. Sucks, right? Hopefully, who knows? Who knows, man? The future's yet to be undetermined. That was terrible. But anyways, let's roll back. So I knew something was up because Sheldina was completely ignorant of what was going on in the area, at the water freezes. And when you have people that just stick to their nose and just do their job without any question, most of the time they're ignorant of what's going on around them. And that's what you're supposed to do at a job. You just do your job and you go home. Even as a soldier, you do your mission, or a courier. You carry a package, who cares what it's in it or where it's from. All that matters is you take it to point A to point B. And that's all there is to it. Professionalism. Being the streak and stuff. So, but sometimes, in certain situations, it helps to know. It does help to know. So, like, what are you doing at your job? That's not going to let you, be horrified later down the road. And that's exactly what happened here. Sheldina didn't know what was going on. And apparently neither did the Heavenly Emperor neither. And Heavenly Emperor is a young person named Machina. And as you can see, this older lady is in charge, the true ruler of the kingdom. The one who pretty much is using the rules and twisting them in her own way so she can get what she wants out of these two. So yeah, I guess a young girl, she's small with Sheldina, but the Emperor is definitely young and ignorant and pretty much was raised to listen and to obey this lady no matter what. She kind of reminds you of mine. Does she remind you of mine? Where you go, you have some redheaded chick screwing everything up for everybody. As per usual. And the only question I have in these situations is, why must you allow the people to suffer if they don't have to? If you give them something that can make them want to serve you, you wouldn't have this problem in the first place. But lo and behold, something's going on that makes the people desperate, hungry, and angry. Every single time. So when you think truth is happening, turns out that's not the case. All truth has been shut down because of one person. One person. But that person has a great amount of power that she can manipulate behind the scenes. To the point where Sheldina herself cannot speak up against her. And the Emperor, who should be able to do it, is too much of a child to do it. And imagine throughout history the amount of young rulers that were there. Ones who probably had good intentions, but died at a young age because they didn't want to listen to the advisor. Or ones who are just complete figureheads and puppets towards the council. Imagine all that, man, throughout history itself. It's nuts. But either way, it seems like Sheldina's out there, she's getting drunk. She's like, oh man, I'm about to do, what happens when people get drunk like that on the battlefield. They're about to commit a slaughter. That's how it usually goes out. But yeah, things about to get a little crazy right now. Like I said before, it's the calm before the storm, and the storm is finally approaching, and we'll see what happens. What will remain after the storm leaves? I'm excited to see what happens next. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. I am back from I'm still on vacation, but I'm just back in state. Out of state, but I'm still on vacation, but I'm back. And after this, I'll be gone on another place for 2 days. So yeah, a very busy week for me. But hey, it's exciting. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has Madcrownxox, signing out.